I moved in quietly. No celebrations. No boxes labeled "New Life." No tears. No mirror selfies with hopeful captions. Just keys in my hand. A mattress on the floor. And the echo of someone else's memories in the walls. The apartment was old. Brick walls, high ceilings, narrow windows. The wooden floors creaked, even when I wasn't moving. But it smelled like silence. Not emptiness. Silence. The kind you feel like you could rebuild yourself inside. I found the listing by accident. Through a friend of a friend. Someone who said the place had been sitting vacant for a long time. Everyone told me the same thing. That apartment is strange. I thought, I feel strange too. Maybe we'll understand each other. I spent the first night just on the mattress, listening to the pipes clicking, someone arguing on a balcony nearby, and footsteps above me, which didn't make sense, because there's nothing above me, just the roof. It's just an old place, I whispered to myself. She has her own music. The next day, I brought in furniture. A small couch, a chair, a side table, a kitchen stool. I placed everything just the way I liked it, the way it made sense to me. Comfortable corners. Soft light from the window landing right on the table. The second morning, I woke up, and the couch had moved. Not a lot, but enough. It was angled differently, just a few degrees off. The chair was no longer near the window. It was facing the hallway. Maybe I moved it last night? Maybe I was tired, distracted, forgetful. I smiled. That tight, nervous smile you give yourself when your gut starts whispering, and your brain tries to hush it. I made coffee, sat on the couch. It creaked beneath me, like something disapproving. That night, I rearranged everything again. Put it back the way I wanted it. The couch beneath the window. The chair with the throw blanket. The table by the door. This was my space now. My story. And I was ready to write it. But that night, I had a dream. I was standing in the living room, half asleep, half naked, watching myself. Move the chair. Turn it slowly, deliberately, until it was facing the wall. Then, I turned around and looked straight at myself. I woke up at 3:46 a.m., my heart pounding behind my eyes. I walked into the living room, and there it was, the chair, facing the wall. I swore I hadn't done it. I should have left it alone, but I couldn't. I turned it back, gently, like I was apologizing. And for the first time, I wondered if this apartment had a memory, or a will of its own. I told myself to be logical. No ghosts. No energy fields. Just me. Tired. Scattered. Maybe moving things in my sleep. I took a pen and paper. Marked the exact spot where I placed the chair and side table. Just a tiny X on the floor. Then I took photos. Before and after. Proof. That night I skipped the evening coffee. No Netflix. No doom scrolling. I just lay in bed early, waiting to catch myself in the act. Sleep came faster than I expected. And I dreamed again. I was walking through a dark room, searching for something. My fingers brushing against furniture I couldn't see, and someone was guiding me. Not gently. I woke to silence. Too quiet. The kind that feels like it's waiting. My window was cracked open, though I remember closing it. The marks I made, the little X near the table, was alone. The table had moved, just a few inches to the left. Enough to know it wasn't me. The couch was angled again. The rug, off-center. The pillows, rearranged. I checked my photos. The change was real. I laughed. Too loud. The kind of laugh you make when fear taps you lightly on the shoulder. I texted my friend. Think my furniture moves on its own. Karma. She replied hours later. Maybe you're sleepwalking? It made sense. Too much sense. But all day, I couldn't stop thinking about the apartment. Not like a place I lived in. More like something I was inside of. Something that was watching. That night, I set up my phone on a tripod. Night mode. Camera pointed at the living room. I wanted to see the truth. In the morning, the room was different again. The chair now by the window. The couch pulled away from the wall. The rug, wrinkled like someone had walked across it over and over. I grabbed the phone, opened the video. An hour of stillness. Then movement. A figure. It looked like me. Same hair. Same robe. But the way it moved. Slow. Intentional. Like it knew exactly where everything belonged. It walked around, repositioning, staging. Then it turned and walked toward the camera. Close. Too close. And the video stopped. I don't remember getting out of bed. I don't remember touching the camera. But it was me. My posture. My shadow. I watched it 3 times. Then I deleted it. I stopped talking to my friend. Not because she didn't believe me, but because she tried to explain it. Like I was the problem. Like I was moving things. But I wasn't. And I knew it. Then the smell started. Oil paint. Old canvas. Like a studio that had been sealed up for years. I tried everything. Opened every window. Washed the throw blankets. Lit candles. But the scent always returned. Faint. Persistent. Stronger after sunset. The furniture didn't just move anymore. It started arranging itself. One morning, I found the chair by the window. The side table next to it. A candle I hadn't placed, softly flickering. On the floor, a folded blanket. The kitchen stool turned to face the wall. It didn't look random. It looked like a set, like someone was rehearsing something. I needed answers. Real ones. So I went to the local library. Old papers. Rental records. Archives. In 1989, this apartment belonged to a woman named Allison Rose. An artist. Quiet. Private. She disappeared. No evidence of foul play. No witnesses. Just, the last time anyone saw her, she was buying paint. That was it. I found a photograph. She was beautiful. Dark hair. Calm eyes. A half smile that made you feel like she knew something you didn't. She looked a little like me. I printed the photo. Brought it home. Left it on the kitchen table. I didn't mean anything by it. I just wanted to see. That night, I woke to a different room. Everything was lit softly by the street lamp, falling in just the right places. The newspaper clipping I left on the table, now center stage. Everything around it, positioned, like an exhibit. The water bottle, the mug, even a small painting, one I had never seen, leaning face down. This wasn't random. This was ritual. I felt it, that someone had been there. Not that I saw anything, but the air. It still held warmth, like someone had just left. I sat on the floor, listening, and in the stillness, a sound, soft, like pencil on canvas. 4 or 5 seconds. Then, nothing. I walked to the kitchen, looked at the back of the newspaper clipping. There were 5 lines, drawn in pencil, even deliberate. They hadn't been there before. I don't remember going back to bed, but I remember waking up with the thought that I am not the first person to live here, and that someone else might still be living here. I tried to live normally. Get up, go to work, do laundry, text people back. But the apartment, It had a rhythm now, a pulse. It wasn't just a place anymore. It was something. It remembered. It watched. Things stopped staying where I left them. Objects disappeared, reappeared in the strangest places. My journal under the bed, my earring on the stove, a kitchen knife in the bathroom sink. Always gently placed, but never by me. Then came the window reflection. I was drinking tea in the kitchen. Late, half asleep. I looked toward the window and saw myself outside, standing under the streetlight, staring up at me. I blinked, looked again. Nothing. I wanted to say it was just in my head, but deep down, I didn't believe that anymore. I placed a mirror near my bed, just to observe. It stopped reflecting the way it should. Sometimes, I'd turn my head, and the reflection would turn just a beat too slow, like it was pretending to be me, and messing up the timing. That night, I left my phone recording audio. Just sound. Nothing else. In the morning, I listened. 4 hours of silence. Then footsteps. Soft. Measured. Someone or something walking. Then breathing. Close to the mic. And finally, a voice. My voice. But deeper. Like it had been soaked in water. Heavy and blurred. "This is all mine," it said. Pause. Then again. I remember everything. I froze. It was my voice. But it wasn't me. I sat there for minutes, still holding the phone, afraid to play it again. I called Emmy, my best friend. I just said, "Come over to stay with me, please." She came the next evening, brought flowers, yawned through her stories, sat on the couch and whispered, "It's too quiet in here." I didn't know what to tell her, so I showed her the mirror, the furniture, the photos. She gave me a look, not fear, not judgment, pity. "You've been under a lot of stress," she said. "Maybe you're dissociating, dreaming while awake." I nodded, but I knew I wasn't alone here, and maybe I hadn't been for a while. We slept in the same bed that night, like we used to in college, laughing softly under the covers, pretending we were okay. For a few hours, I felt human again, until I woke up just before dawn. Emmy was still sleeping, her breathing slow, steady, and in the chair across the room, where no one had been sitting, someone was there. Me, but not me, wearing a nightgown I no longer owned, hands folded in her lap, a faint smile. She didn't move, just watched. I didn't scream. I closed my eyes, and when I opened them again, the chair was empty, but I don't think anyone ever really left. I never told Emmy what I saw. She wouldn't believe me. Or worse, she'd believe me and start looking at me like I was already gone. She left the next morning, told me I looked pale, told me to rest, suggested I get away for a while. But how do you get away from a place that's rearranging you from the inside out? I went to work, tried to be normal, tried to smile, tried not to think about it. But when I came back, the apartment had changed. Everything, not just the furniture, the entire feeling of the space. The rug was gone, the painting over the couch, not mine. Even the dining table was different wood. And my photo album, gone. In its place, a leather-bound book, old, unlabeled, frayed at the corners. I opened it. It was a journal. The handwriting, shaky, erratic. Words pressed deep into the paper. People come and go, but this apartment remains mine, even when I vanish from it. It keeps me, and one day, I will return. Signed, Ear. Allison Rose. I dropped the book, walked to the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face, looked into the mirror. My hair looked darker, my cheekbones sharper, my eyes deeper somehow. I didn't recognize the woman staring back. I walked into the living room. There was an easel, a blank canvas. I didn't buy it, but it was standing there like it had always been. And there was paint, fresh, still wet. My fingers moved on their own. I dipped the brush, made the first stroke. It felt familiar, like my hands knew what they were doing, like I'd done this 1,000 times. And I liked it. I kept painting, the face forming on the canvas. It was mine, but not mine. The woman looked like me, but calmer, more resolved. Below it, a signature. E. Rose, 1990. I turned around. The chair behind me, empty, but the air still held a presence. That night, I dreamed of opening a closet. Inside were paintings, portraits of me, but different versions. Crying, smiling, screaming, blank. I woke to cold air on my face. There was another painting by the door, framed, propped up against the wall. A portrait of me, with a soft expression, and the title under it read, Liza Rose, The Last. I sat on the floor, arms wrapped around my knees, trying to remember the last time I felt like myself. Truly, undeniably, myself. Not through a mirror, not in a dream, not on someone else's canvas. Just me, in the bathroom. I stared into my own eyes. Were they still mine? Or already hers? Even my voice had changed. Lower, slower, like it came from deeper inside. The words I used weren't mine anymore. The phrases, the tone. I called my mother. She hesitated, then said, "You sound different. You even breathe differently." That same day, I lost an entire hour. I left the apartment, went to the pharmacy, and somehow ended up in the park, holding a box of paintbrushes. I don't paint, but back at the apartment, there was a canvas already waiting for me, set up on a new easel, still blank, still damp with scent. I didn't remember placing it, but I picked up a brush. My hands moved without me. They knew the weight of it, the angle, the pressure. I painted, stroke after stroke, color after color. I lost track of time. When I finally stepped back, it was a woman's face. Mine, but different. Her expression calm, knowing, finished. The same smile from the chair, from the dream, from the other side of the glass. She was returning. Every night, the room rearranged itself into a set she remembered. Lamplight at the right angle, chair by the window, notebook on the table. I stopped fighting it. I began following the routine, waking when she would have woken, sleeping when she would have slept. It felt right. Then I found the key, tiny, brass, in the pocket of a coat I didn't remember buying. It fit a small panel in the wall, one I had tried before, always locked. Inside was a wooden box, and inside that, photographs of Allison Rose, in every stage of life, smiling, painting, disappearing, and in the final photo, she's sitting in the same chair I now use, canvas beside her, brush in hand, and standing behind her, almost out of frame, is a woman with my face. I woke up, and everything was quiet. Not the eerie kind of quiet, not the heavy, haunted silence I was used to, but peaceful, still, like something had been settled, like a decision had finally been made. The morning light poured through the windows, soft, golden warm. The apartment looked perfect, but not mine. The couch, different. Not gray, but a deep velvet blue. The chair, reupholstered, richer, older. The rug, the entire layout, subtly changed, and it felt finished. In the closet, my clothes were gone, replaced by dresses I'd never worn, paint-stained cardigans, an old perfume bottle with a name I didn't recognize. In the mirror, I looked like me, but I wasn't. The eyes, calmer, more certain. The smile, controlled. Someone else had settled into my skin. In the kitchen, the kettle was already whistling, and on the table, a handwritten note, in my handwriting, but I didn't write it. Thank you. I can breathe now. Signed, E. I didn't panic. There was no fear, no confusion, just emptiness, but not the scary kind. The kind that comes after surrender. The kind that comes when you've been replaced. I sat in the chair, her chair, looked out the window, down on the street. A woman was walking. She looked up, and for a second, I thought I saw myself. But she looked away. She didn't wave, didn't smile, because I was no longer something to return to. I was already gone. The apartment didn't creak anymore, didn't shift, didn't whisper. She was home now. I picked up the brush, turned to the canvas, and I knew exactly where the light should fall. I breathed in. The silence stayed with me, and for the first time, it felt like it belonged.